In a world designed to make you react instantly to everything, what if the secret to thriving was learning how not to react at all? I'm Jon Sanchez, and for the last 25 years, I've been swimming in the deep end of the information economy. Tech executive by day, overwhelmed human by night, just like you. And like you, I've felt the constant pull of notifications, anxiety of not keeping up, the constant expectations and exhaustion of always hearing or having an opinion about everything happening everywhere. Over those years, I've discovered something that shaped how I approach life and its many challenges. Not from a business guru or productivity hack or anything like that, but inspired by a creature that's been around for 500 million years, and it's never needed therapy. This is The Current, where we explore practical wisdom for navigating the chaos of modern life. And if you're thinking this sounds too simple for complex problems, stick around for the next few minutes. By the end, you might understand why some of the calmest people in crisis situations have learned to stop fighting currents they can't control. Now let me tell you who I am and why this matters. My name's Jon, as you probably heard in the intro. I'm a husband and a father of two incredible kids. But more importantly for this conversation, I'm someone who spent 25 years learning how to stay calm when everything around me was changing faster than I could keep up with. It started when I was around 19, taking tech support calls from people who were more panicked than I was. Here I am barely knowing what a mail merge was, trying to help Dell customers, trying to save their jobs with applications I'd never seen before. The irony was not lost on me. They were paying me for my expertise while I was figuring it out in real time. That experience taught me something crucial. You can navigate unfamiliar waters if you stay calm and focus on what you can actually control. Over the years, I've been through what it feels like every type of upheaval you can imagine. Industry consolidations that wiped out entire departments, successful ventures that crashed due to circumstances beyond anybody's control, personal challenges that tested everything I knew about resilience. The constant? It's been adaptation. Learning to work with forces bigger than myself instead of fighting them. And here's what I discovered through all of it. The people who thrive during chaos aren't the ones who never get confused or overwhelmed. They're the ones who've learned to find their center even when the world is spinning. Well, that's what led me to write the Jellyfish Philosophy. It's not an academic exercise by any means. It's a practical guide distilled from decades of navigating constant change. It's a toolbox for you or anybody who's tired of feeling pulled in every direction by forces they can't control. Let's be data-driven about what we're dealing with here. The human brain evolved to handle maybe 150, 250 relationships in a small tribe, with relatively predictable challenges. Meanwhile, we now create 2.5 quintillion bytes of data every single day. Yet our brains haven't evolved much in the last 10,000 years. We're running essentially the same hardware our ancestors had, but trying to process an exponentially increasing volume of information. We're expected to have opinions on global politics, local issues, economic policies, social movements, the goings-on of our kids, and manage our careers, relationships, and personal growth. You're not broken if this feels overwhelming. The system fundamentally changed, but our cognitive capacity didn't. We're living through what researchers call an epistemic crisis. We can't agree on how to know what's true anymore. But here's something most people don't understand. We're also living through an algorithmic reality crisis. When someone says it's all over my feed, they think that means it's all over everyone's feed. It's not. Your algorithm is personal. Your social media reality is customized to you based on your clicks, your views, your shares, and how much time you spent on that content. Your neighbor's feed shows them completely different content. Your colleague's news app highlights different stories. We're not just disagreeing about conclusions here. We're literally seeing different information ecosystems. This creates what I call an algorithmic bubble. And most people don't even realize they're in one. They think their information diet represents what's happening in the world. It doesn't. It represents what an algorithm thinks will keep you engaged. Add to that the constant pressure for immediate responses. Breaking news demands instant analysis. Someone posts something controversial and we're expected to have a position within hours. Complex global situations are getting reduced to hot takes. But here's what 25 years of managing information systems has taught me. Trying to process everything like it's equally important and equally urgent is a recipe for exhaustion. Most information doesn't require your opinion. Breaking news breaks every day. Most urgent things aren't actually urgent. What if instead of fighting these information currents, we learn to navigate them strategically? This is where my experience with adaptation and pattern recognition led me to 3 principles. I call it the Jellyfish Philosophy, but really it's just about strategic navigation through complexity and chaos. First of those principles is acceptance. In technology, we might call this failing forward. Accepting current conditions so you can make data-driven decisions about what to do next, and improving on the next iteration, using that failure as a lesson platform to build to the next iteration towards success. You can't solve problems you won't acknowledge exist. You can't navigate currents you pretend aren't there. For me, this meant accepting that my hospitality business wasn't coming back after a city licensing issue. Fighting that reality would have wasted energy I needed for my next move. Taking care of my family, getting a job. Acceptance isn't giving up. It's redirecting energy towards what you can actually influence. Second, adaptability. 25 years in tech taught me that rigid systems break. Flexible systems, on the other hand, they survive massive changes. I've been through a few acquisitions, for example. One thing I've seen firsthand, people who can adapt to change thrive. People who cannot, don't. This means changing your approach without changing your core values. Learning new skills when industries shift, pivoting strategies when conditions change. It's about being water, not stone. Third, mindfulness. My ADHD gives me pattern recognition superpowers, but it also means I can get overwhelmed by processing everything all at once. Mindfulness for me, well, that's about creating space between information input and emotional output. It's the difference between reacting to every market fluctuation when I'm day trading versus responding to meaningful patterns. Between getting triggered by every political post versus engaging thoughtfully with ideas that matter. These are not meditational retreat concepts here. They're practical frameworks I've used through business failures, health challenges, relationship crises, industry upheavals, you name it. And here's the key insight. This isn't about being passive. It's about being strategically powerful. When you stop wasting energy fighting unchangeable conditions, you have more energy for creating meaningful change. So here's what we're going to do together. Every Monday, I'll release the float. It's going to be a few minutes of personal reflection and contemplation. Every Wednesday, the current. It will be deeper dive educational content exploring the week's main concepts around the pillars. And then every Friday, the current events, where we'll take some current headlines and issues and apply our frameworks in real time. Some float episodes will focus on personal stories and guided practices. The current episodes will dive deeper into research, frameworks, and systematic thinking. The current events will demonstrate how to apply these principles to whatever's happening in the world right now. We'll also have some guests when we can, of course, people who successfully navigated major life transitions, business challenges, information overwhelm using similar principles. Over the next few months, I'm going to take you through 3 educational pillars. First, we'll explore why information feels so overwhelming and contradictory. It's not your imagination, and understanding the system changes everything. Second, we'll develop what I call information hygiene, practical strategies for staying informed without getting overwhelmed by algorithmic feeds and manufactured urgency. Third, we'll go deep into applying these principles to relationships, work, parenting, even politics, all the areas where strategic thinking matters most. Next, we'll start with a crucial question. Why can't we seem to agree on what's true? Spoiler alert, it has nothing to do with intelligence or education, and everything to do with how information systems have fundamentally changed. Until then, try something simple. When you feel that familiar urge to react immediately to something, a news story, a social media post, a work crisis, just pause. Take a few deep breaths. Maybe take a walk if it's hitting you particularly hard. Ask yourself, is what I'm about to do going to add value or add more fuel to a volatile situation? Maybe, do I personally know enough to offer value to this conversation? Or am I just adding more noise? Data-driven decisions require good data. Emotional reactions rarely provide that. Thanks for joining me in the current. I'm Jon Sanchez, and I'll see you next time.